So let's start on our side. We're going to do a bit of spinal rotation. So all the way on your side, arm reaches forward. You're going to sweep the arm down to your hip as you open away from me. Take a breath in, and then rolling back on your side. Nice and heavy through the bottom half of the body and the head as you sweep the arm down, look away, big breath in. And moving in a range that is comfortable, so really trying to stay out of any pain or any stiffness at the moment. So really just trying to be kind in this range of motion. Keep this movement going. We're just going to change the arms. So it's going to go up to the ceiling. You're going to open away from me. And just feel how that moves the ribs a little bit more in one piece of the arm, and then close. And again, up to the ceiling, open. And close. And just one more like that. Letting the knees move as they need to. And close. And then the arm is going to go up overhead into a nice sort of pinwheel movement as you open for the last three. Up and overhead, rolling back on your side. Really feel that armpit yawn. Reach and let the shoulder come up to your ear as you roll open. And then return. And last one. Pause in the rotation this time. Take a big breath in. Exhale, stay in the rotation. See if that breath out can relax you more into your twist. Big breath in. And then reach the arm up overhead and roll back on your side. Come right onto your back. Let's reach the arms overhead and get a nice long stretch down both sides of your waist. Walk your feet in slightly so they're more sit bone distance apart, so 2 or 3 inches apart. You're going to roll the pelvis up into a hip roll as you press the arms down. And then let the spine melt back down to the floor as you roll all the way back to the mat, arms reach overhead. Let's rock the pelvis away, get that little stretch through the waist. Gather low abdominals, press the arms down, roll the spine up. And then right from the top of the spine, sternum softens, rolling back down. Again, rolling up. And down. So really mobilizing through the spine and opening up, lengthening down the waist. One more time, rolling all the way up. And melting down, arms overhead. You're going to roll onto your other side. We're going to do the spinal rotation exercise. So I'm going to give you my back just for time's sake. So the arm's going to sweep down to the floor as you open towards the screen perhaps. And then down to the hip as you roll back on your side. You're going to do that 2 more times. There we go. This one will be your last one. Open towards me. And back. The arm is going to go up to the ceiling. Right up to the ceiling. Peeling ribs open. And close. 2 more. Open. And close. And last one. Open. And close, and then your last 3 with the arm going up and overhead. Letting the armpit yawn, stretch. Feel that beautiful fascial stretch all the way down the side of the ribs. Or then down into the side of the waist. And then again, up overhead as you roll towards the screen, letting that armpit open. And return, really cradling your head so that your neck isn't taking too much tension on. And then last one, open up. and then close. Onto your back. One more time. We're just going to do a few pelvic rocks here. So finding neutral, just really quickly, rock pelvis away, heavy through tailbone. Rock pelvis towards, lengthen through low back, light through tailbone. Rock the pelvis away, feeling that low back arch. Rock the pelvis towards, feel it lengthen and soften towards the mat. Two more, rock it away. As little muscle contraction as possible here. So feeling like that pelvic bowl is pivoting on your thigh bones, and the low back is just reacting to where the pelvis is sitting. And actually, if you keep going with this a couple more times, you'll feel how the rest of the spine reacts to where the pelvis is sitting as well, which is interesting. Settle in your neutral, which is somewhere where the glutes are off and the low back is soft. Maybe there's a bit of lightness or curve through that area. Hands behind your head. Bring your elbows in slightly so you can see them in your peripheral vision. And gently nod the chin and come up into your ab prep. Doing this as best you can without grabbing too much in the low back, but we're trying to stay in a neutral curve. Big breath in at the top. And then lengthen the spine all the way back down on your breath out. 3 more ab preps with the breath. Nod the chin, come up on your breath out. Take a breath in at the top. And then lower down on your exhale. 2 more. Inhale, do nothing. Nod and curl, exhale. Inhale, continue to curl up. And then exhale, lengthen the spine back down. 1 more, in. Nod and curl. Breath in. Lowering down. Next time you're up, you're going to hold it here. Inhale, do nothing. Nod and curl. Pulsing. So just little 1 inch up with the ribs. Feel like the head can remain heavy in the hands, and the movement is coming from sternum and low rib. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Pause at the top. Come up a little higher if you can. Notice if you've lost the curve through the low back. See if you can let the glutes relax and find a little bit more of a placement closer to neutral. Big breath in. Lower yourself all the way back down. Inhale, do nothing. Exhale, nod and curl. Breath in at the top. Lower yourself back down. 3 more just like that. In. Exhale, feel that upper abdominal band kind of draw in, tighten. Feel there's a little bit of contraction, something right there. And breathe out, lower down. Inhale. Exhale, nod and curl. Inhale. And lower back down. This one you'll hold up. This time, instead of pulsing, you're going to keep the ab prep. Just 1 foot at a time lifts 1 inch off the mat. I hope you can see my feet. Let me walk them in a bit. So just little marches, up and up. Again, holding on to that neutral curve through the low spine and pelvis as much as possible. Try not to lose the upper body flexion. For 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower all the way down. You have 1 more set. Inhale, do nothing. Exhale, nod and curl. Inhale at the top. Lower all the way down. In. X. In. And lower down. 2 more. In. And come up. Inhale. Lower down. This is the last one, holding the next one up. Inhale. Nod and curl. Good, this time we'll do a little oblique twist. So twisting towards the screen, reaching the arm past your opposite thigh. Through center, it's nice and slow. Twist and reach. And you also open this elbow to the floor. So the elbow, that hand that stays behind your head, that elbow towards the floor as you reach for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come into the center, take a big breath in, and then lower all the way to the floor. We're just going to warm up imprint, so hands by your sides. I'm just going to move mine so you can see my waist. In neutral curve, big breath in, no support whatsoever. Find a little drawing in and up in your neutral curve so that support kind of gathers a little bit without changing the shape of the low spine. Keep gathering that support, kind of drawing that corset in as you lengthen the low back towards the floor. Big breath here. It will obviously go into the rib cage because of all that work down in the low abdominals. And then right away, lazy tabletop, bring left leg up, and then right leg up. Let the feet drop. Hold here for a moment. Let's just go into some toe taps, and then we're going to go right away into some hundreds, but I want to try a new little sequence. So this is quite gentle. We're just going to slowly load the low abdominals. You're going to keep going. I'm going to move a little farther away so that I have more, so you can see me a little bit better, I think. So here we are, 4, 3, 2, lift the feet up 2 inches, just reaching the toes slightly farther away, feeling how those quads and hip flexors want to fire. Keep that sensation of the thigh falling away from your belly button. The low back is still quite long and soft on the mat. 5, 4, 3. See if you can release the back of the neck and the jaw while you're doing this. Lift the feet up, so now we're at 90 degrees for 10, 9. Please take a break whenever you need to, or go back to one of the variations we've done earlier. 5, 4, 3, 2. You're going to do one more set of 10, and you're going to lengthen one leg into your single leg stretch legs. Notice how the lower you lower the leg that's extending, the more work, and it depends on the shape of the spine. This could be tons of work for some shapes that have that big low back curve naturally. So pick an angle, so maybe lift the leg a little higher if you're having trouble maintaining the imprint, because this is all about the imprint. One more each leg. And then hug your knees in for a moment and just feel how the shape of the spine really the low spine flattens and widens in this position. You're going to come right back into your lazy tabletop. Nice deep imprint through the low spine. Hands go behind your head. Nod and curl. Lower down. Lazy tabletop. Nod and curl. Lower down. So we are still in an imprint, if that wasn't clear. And one more. Pause here. Float the feet up 2 inches. Feel how the low abs have to kick in to support this new shape. Small. The difference is small, but it's definitely there. Lower down. Just speeding up the ab prep a bit. Up and lower. Up. One more. Pause here. Lift the feet up 90 degrees. 4, 3, 2. Hold this next one up. This time you're going to extend the legs as you lower your head down, both of them at the same time, and bend the knees in as you nod and curl. Extend the legs long. Again, pick your angle that you can do while supporting an imprint. And if this is too much, just go back to what we were doing before, or you can do the single leg option. But I'm going to keep going with both. And then just one more of these, whatever variation you're doing. Oh, sorry, I confused the coordination. So it was extend as you lower your head, and then nod and curl and bend your knees. And then just hug your knees into your chest for a second and rock side to side. So we're going to do the same leg positions, but we're going to do it with the hundreds exercise. So find your imprint. Lazy tabletop, hands behind your head. Nod and curl. Arms reach forward. Inhale for 5 pulses. And exhale for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In and out. Lift the feet. Inches, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In and out. One more. In and out. Lift the feet 2 inches. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. In and out. In. Double leg stretch. Next one. Out. So inhale, do nothing. Exhale. 2, 3, and 4, 5. In. 3, 4, 5. Extend. 2 more. In and out. Last one. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring the legs up to the ceiling. Lower your head down, hands just off your hips. Cross right ankle over left and just slightly externally rotate the legs. We're going to do rollover prep. So deepen those low abs, rolling the pelvis up 2 or 3 inches and roll down. The movement is very much about that kind of gather through the low abdominals and a roll through the low spine. I'm trying to lift my feet straight up to the ceiling instead of over my head. So it's quite a lot of deep gather. 5, 4, 3. Pressing down into the hands and see if you can widen across the collarbones. 2. And 1. You're going to release the left leg onto the ground, either straight or bent, and the right leg up to the ceiling. Single leg circle. Reaching the leg across your midline, sweep it around. So here's the version with a bent leg. There's also the option to straighten and bend this leg, depending on how your hamstrings feel. 1 more. And now you're going to reverse the direction. Inhale, it tips away from midline, and then exhale, sweep it around. So the pelvis can move during the circle, but we try to not start the movement with the pelvis tipping where the leg is going. Good. Let's just hug the knees into the chest one more time, and then we'll switch sides. Picking your position towards the midline, and then sweep it around. More. And then open away from the midline and reverse the direction. One more. Hug the knees into the chest. Release the legs back up to the ceiling. Let's cross the left ankle on top of the right. Hands just off your hips. We're going to do the rollover prep again, this time with the sort of intention of eventually going over. We're not going to go into full roll up today, but just sort of deepening all those low abdominals, so that you can roll the spine and kind of lightly pick the body up a little bit more than you did before. Up and lower. Externally rotating the legs, so the legs are slightly bent. You can actually bend them quite a lot here if you need to. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Legs stay up to the ceiling. You're going to nod and curl, grabbing the right thigh, letting the left one go down. We'll go into scissors. So 2 pulses. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Deep imprint through the low spine. You can do this with knees slightly bent if you need to. Pulse, pulse, switch. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Legs hug in, lower your head down. This time just look side to side. Letting the head roll around. distance apart and let the legs roll around now. And then eventually, we'll go one more each side, and then you're going to roll onto your side. So, we're going to do a little side leg work. I'd like to start with side leg lifts. So, pulling the toes and pull up the kneecap so that the leg is very active. Lower the leg down to the mat, and then just lift it up hip height and down. Hip height, top hand to top hip. Just encourage that hip away from your shoulder a bit so it's stacked right over top of the bottom one. Find a little bit of that drawing in and up. Yeah. And lift. So feeling all that work through the side of the glute. And if you're feeling it kind of more in the front and down into the quad, externally rotate. So that just means drawing the toe and knee slightly up to the ceiling so that we're just maybe getting a bit more glute than that IT burn. And 3, 2, hold it up, little pulses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you turned your leg out, just turn it back parallel. We're going to go right into side kicks. 2 pulses forward, pulse, pulse, point the toe, and reach back. Swing it forward, pulse, pulse, point, reach it back. And pulse, pulse, reach it back. Kind of like gliding that leg over water so it doesn't change height. Especially back here, we like to give it a little kick. See if you can keep it low and try to get it behind you without letting the low back and ribs go with it. So there's all that gathering happening through hamstrings and glutes. One more. Pulse, pulse. We're going to add a little rotation to this. So let's take the pulses away. Bring the leg forward, spin the knee and toes to the ceiling. And then point the toe, reach it behind you, top of the foot and kneecap to the floor. Externally rotate from the top of the thigh as you swing it forward. Internally rotate from the top of the thigh as you reach back. About 5 more. And back. And forward, nice and slow so you can feel all that nice work at the top of the thigh. Those deep lateral rotators. 2 more. Last one. We're going to keep going with this last thing here. How does this work? So, externally rotate as you reach the foot forward. I don't care if you point or flex. You're going to lift it up to the ceiling and internally rotate it as it taps behind you. So let's actually do that. Toe taps behind. Lift it up to the ceiling, heel taps in front so that we're just getting a nice clear position of the leg. Toe tap behind, up to the ceiling, heel tap in front. So obviously the waist is going to change much more with this exercise. That's okay, just keep a little bit of that integrity, that stability through the low abdominals if you can, with all that outer hip work. You have 3 more, and toe taps behind, 2 more. See if you can let some tension go out of the shoulders, an arm if it's working extra hard, and last one. Let's keep the leg going. Reach the leg behind you, arm forward, and then open it up. So spinal rotation as you do the leg that we just did. So arm forward, toe taps behind. Arm opens back, heel taps in front. Wow. I hope you're feeling that hip work too. And last 2. Forward. And this will be the last one for real. And then stack the knees and just give yourself a little massage here. I just want to do a little bit of arm work while we're here. So top hand planted in front of your sternum, and push yourself up. Wrap the underneath arm around. We're only going to go halfway down and press up. So I often see this feels more like this is how it should be, but the arm should be across your chest. I wish I could see you. Bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. Bend. So let's go for about 4, 3, 2, make it as small as you need, and 1. Keep the legs the way they are, like that. And we're just going to do a little bit of side bending here. So up and over towards what's kind of the more natural side bending side. Hand to the forehead, elbow to the ceiling, bend away. If you're finding this position is just super uncomfortable and you're getting that cramp through the hip, you can cross your legs and just do the same arms as us. Up and over. And then hand to forehead, elbow to ceiling. Feel that flare in the ribs as you bend away. 2 more. Elbow lifts, and that's what takes you slightly over. And this one is the last one. Great. So let's swing the legs around to the other side. Lay all the way down on your side. We're going to do everything here. So we'll start with those side leg lifts. Flex the toes, pull the kneecap up, down and up. 1, just to hip height. 2, I love that feeling of pulling the hip away. And all of a sudden the waist just gathers a little bit and you can feel the work perhaps move down from the low back or the waist into that side hip, side glute, that's where we want it. Again, if you're feeling that sort of burn down the side of the thigh, just externally rotate and make the range a bit smaller. If that's not working, make it bigger. Just play with the movement and see if you can find work in your glute. Up and down. 4, 3, 2. Good, lift up and hold. I can't remember if we did pulses. Let's just do them. 2. Oh yeah. Turn your leg parallel. We did not do pulses. Swing the leg forward, pulse here. 2. Point the toe, reach it back. We're going right into side kicks. Flex the foot, 2 pulses forward. Pulse, pulse. Point the toe, reach it back. Feel that the ribs and the front of the body get longer with that extension. As you kick the leg forward, hamstring and glute gets longer. As you swing the leg back, thigh and waist. 2. And last one. Let's add the external and internal rotation. Swing the leg forward, no pulses. Spin the toes and kneecap to the ceiling. Point the toe, reach the leg back. Internally rotate top of the foot, kneecap to the floor. Flex the foot, external rotation, no pulses. Point the toe, internal rotation, reach the toe away. If you can still kind of encourage that hip away from your shoulder just a little bit without getting rigid or tense through any unnecessary areas, great. I think it helps feel the length required in the areas of the body as we do this. Let's do 2 more. External and internal. And last one. And then we're going to do that big rainbow-like movement. So swing the leg forward, let's place the heel down, and then up to the ceiling, toe down, internally rotate. Up to the ceiling, heel down, and up. Something about this big movement that feels really good until it becomes really intense. Big movement, toe behind. And 5. Good, try not to lose the support through the waist. 4. 3. Let's add the upper body. So reach the toe behind, arm reaches forward, swing the leg up and arm up, kind of half a gingerbread man, and then open away with the body. So spinal rotation and hip work. I like to move kind of slow, like at the coordination, and then you can speed it up, but do what feels good. This is just kind of freeing. 4 more. 1, 2, 3. Last one. And then you can stack the knees and give yourself that little massage to the hip. We'll do that tricep work. So, left top hand in front, bottom hand around the ribs. Bend and stretch. 10, 9. Really feeling that tricep, so the work is definitely on the extension. 4 more. 1, 2, and 4. And then all the way up in those legs, whatever they are, mermaid legs, I guess, or cross-legged, side bends. Really reach the fingertips away, all the way up, hand to forehead, elbow to ceiling. And again, up and over. And away. 2 more. And last one. Okay. I want to come onto hands and knees, and we will use a weight finally. So just have one weight beside you. Let's use the right arm first, just because I'm right dominant. It helps me remember. So we'll go right arm, left leg slides out and back in. And I'd like you to really feel the slide of the arm and the leg on the way out, so that when you lift up, we're not deviating in the hips or in the shoulders. You're just finding a nice sense of lift through the underneath side of the body. The arm and leg don't go high for this one. 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're going to grab the ball, or the can, or the weight, whatever you're using, in your right hand. We're going to slide right arm, left leg out long. We're going to do all the same side as you swing the arm back and draw the knee to the nose. And reach out. I'm going to spin around so you can see my working arm too. So arm reaches out, and then my palm goes to the ceiling as I swing it up to the ceiling. And out. And flexion. And spin back around. 2 more. Out. And last one. Swing the arm out long, leg long, and hold. You're just going to open the arm and leg 4, 5, 6 inches to the side, so you can create a diagonal line, and then back center. Option to do this without the weight. If you're feeling it too much in the neck, just open the arm and leg and back. So we're just doing a little shy diagonal and back. 2 more. Open and back. Last one. Good, let's bring the arm and leg down for a moment. Swing the weighted arm back. I'm going to spin around again. And we're just going to pulse to the ceiling. 2, 3, 4. I open the fingers so that we're not gripping too hard on the weight, so that there's a little bit more length. And I think that it helps the work travel up the arm, takes it out of the forearm a bit. Pause here, nice and easy, bend and stretch. 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep weight forward on that left hand. 4, 3, 2. You're going to repeat the pulses. 1, 2, 4. Good. Repeat the bend and stretch. 1. Stay nice and supported in that left shoulder. So I'm pressing the floor away, so I'm trying not to sink into that joint. It's quite a lot of work on the supporting side. 2. Pulse one last time. 2, 4, 6, 8. Bend and stretch last time. Bend. 1. Keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Place the weight down for a moment. Just shift back into a little hinge, and then shifting forward into a very small push-up. Elbows can be out or in. Shifting back, shifting forward, little bend. Shifting back, and forward. Shifting back. Keep pushing the floor away as your chest lowers. So we're trying to take this sort of shoulder blade, head reach part of the push-up out of it. So keeping the shoulders, that upper spine and head in line as you just bend the elbows. And to get that, you do have to actively press the hands into the floor. 2 more. That should take us to about 10. And last one. And then let's just come off the wrists for a moment. Sit back into a shell stretch. Reach your arms forward. Nice heavy head on the ground. Breathing deeply into your belly. Feel how when the belly expands, it hits your thighs maybe, and they can't expand anymore down, so the breath moves up into the low back. And really, really use that expansion to help open and move that deep fascial layer in your low back. And then back up onto your hands and knees. We're going to have the weight by the left hand. I'm going to spin around. You don't have to. Starting with that nice and easy swim prep, we're just going to move through it a little faster. So trying to apply everything you found when it was slow. 2 more. 1 and 2. Grab the weight with the left hand. Slide arm and leg out long. You're going to draw the knee in, nose to knee. Hand swings up to the ceiling. Reach out, find neutral. Long line. Knee to nose. Swing in and out. In. So I like to imagine both sides of my waist are lifting up to the ceiling, and at the same time the same way. It helps me find this kind of train track, tracking, not to overuse that word, in my legs. Helps balance. 2 more. This is 1. Last one. Arm and leg reach long. Open the arm and leg into that little diagonal. Bring it back. Open. Feel how as soon as you move the arm and leg away from your midline, those obliques kick in a lot to help support. Weight is optional. If too much is happening in your shoulder, neck area, drop the weight. Let's do 2 more here. And last one. Bring everything down. Swing the arm back, palm to the ceiling. Pulse. 10. 3. You're going to bend and stretch the arm. 10. So even though we're working the triceps here, keep going. You're trying your best to keep this kind of squared shoulder position. So we tend to do this when we drop a lot and use our lats a ton. See if you can find a little lift there. You're going to pulse again. So that when you're moving your arm, you're not depressing and shortening through the working waist. Or I guess it would be your left waist. They're both working. And then bend and stretch the elbow. 10. 6. Just keep paying attention to that left waist, lengthening it away from the shoulder so the hips are actually level as well. Pulse, this is the last round. And then bend and stretch, pressing the right hand into the floor so that we're supported in the right shoulder. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. Weight to the side. You're going to shift back this time into a full shelf stretch for a moment, and then come forward and you're doing a full push-up. I like to keep my knees down for this one. You don't have to. You can lift up into a plank and do a full push-up if that's where you are at right now. Let's do 8. Please take your time and really find the shelf stretch. So if you want to take a moment here and then move forward into your push-up, my counting is just a suggestion. I'm not even counting. 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to go into an exercise. Actually, push back into a shelf stretch. We'll just give your wrists a bit of a break. Let's actually circle those guys out a bit. And then reverse the circle. So we're going to go into some leg pull front. We're going to do the prep and then the full, just one right after the other. Tuck your toes. Hands right under shoulders, knees right under hips. Hover the knees just an inch off the mat. The lower the knees are, the better. Hold here. Lower down for a moment. Trying to lift the knees without changing the shape of the spine or holding the breath. So I love the image of like thigh bones suctioning right up into the pelvis. Lift the knees again. Lower down. This is the last one. Lift the knees and hold. You're going to step back into a plank. Right leg, left leg. You're going to shift forward and back on the toes. I hope you can see that. Yes, you can. Forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Movement is in the ankles and in the shoulders. 4, 3. Sternum reaches forward, 2. And 1, and then knees down. Come on up onto your hands or onto your knees, I mean. We'll just do this little rotation. Bow and arrow movement. Feel that little squeeze through the ribs as you rotate. Squeeze through that left rib as the left elbow pulls back. And one more, each way. I can't remember what side I started on, so. Hands down, hands and knees, tuck your toes. We're going to repeat. Hover the knees. Lower down. Hover the knees. Lower down. Press into the floor, hover the knees. Reach that sternum forward so we're out of this hunched upper back position into a longer line through the front of the body. Left leg reaches back. Right leg reaches back. 8 times, shifting forward. 1, 2, 3, 5. Last one. Knees down, lower onto your belly. Just take a second here to let your arms relax. I'd like to have both weights by your hips. I think we're going to do some extension work, and then that should take us almost to the end. Okay, so let's start with some heel squeeze prone, just to sort of reactivate the glutes a little bit. Heels together, toes apart, knees to the outer edge, to the edge of the mat, and your head rests on your hands. Upper body stays as relaxed as possible. Squeeze those heels together and just float the thighs maybe an inch off the mat. Lower down. all hip extension. So trying your best to leave the low back alone. Yeah, Laura, you're not going to be able to do this one. You could do some, keep going everybody, you can do a couple sort of lifts this way, tap and lift, just to kind of activate the glutes, if you're still with me. Next time your legs are up, hold, and just pulse here. Just tiny, tiny little pulses. You should feel quite what is the word? There's quite a burn happening right from my waistband, my pants, all the way down to the sit bone. So trying to get it out of just these lower fibers and get into the upper fibers of the glute. Lengthen the legs long, externally rotate the knees, keep the upper body the same. You're going to lift and lower your legs, rotated, in a little V below you. See if you can keep widening that collarbone, letting the upper body get flatter and lower to the floor. Lift and lower, 5, 4. Find a little support through those low abs, 3, 2, and 1. Rest the legs for a moment. Just shift your hips side to side. And then hands in this cactus position. Walk the fingers up so that the elbows are straight out from the shoulders. Keep the legs externally rotated, slowly coming up into an extension. If you're not doing prone work, if you're not lying on your belly, you can do cat stretch on 4-point knee up. Slowly coming up, full spinal extension. Try to keep it out of just the neck lifting, so eyes just diagonally down to the floor. Again, feeling just like an ab prep. Try to feel this movement coming more from the ribs. They open to the front of the mat. Two more. If you want to make this bigger, bring your hands down so they're more in line with your ears. And then come up. Lots of glutes, lots of low abdominals. And this one coming up will be your last one. And lower down. Hands are going to be underneath your head. Let's bring the legs together. They'll just stay long and close as long as your low back is okay with that. If you start to feel gripping in your low back, just open the feet slightly. Okay, hands stacked. You're going to come up into your breaststroke prep. So we are now focusing on upper back extension only. Again, trying to leave that low back out of it as much as possible. And to do that, you need a lot of low abdominal support. Lower down. Coming up. And down. Again, this is coming from the rib cage. Two more. Up. And down. Come on up and hold. Arms reach out to the side. Slide them down to your hips. Open them back into a T position. Bring them under your forehead and lower down. We're going to do that 2 more times. Up into a little upper back. Arms to the side. Down to your hips. Back to a T. Back to the forehead. Lower down. So I hope that I did mention that your weight should be by your hips, so we're going to use them next time. So come on up into your breaststroke prep. Open into a T. Slide them down to your hips and find your weights if you're using them. Spin the palms to the ceiling. Eyes stay to the floor. Pulse. 10, 9, 6, 3. Spin the palms towards you. Now, so the pinky will pulse up. Keep going. 10, 8, 6, 3. Hold. Palms now down to the floor. Back of the hands to the ceiling. Pulse. 5, 6, 8. Drop the weights. Arms to the side. Ooh, they feel really light when you let the weights go. Hands to your forehead. lower down. Shift side to side a few times, just let the low back release. Push yourself back into a shell stretch. Walk your hands over to the right side of the mat and sit a little bit into your left hip and hold that for a moment. Great. And then walk your hands over to the left side, sit into the right hip and hold that. And then come back center, tucking your toes, lifting your hips up into an inverted V and walk through the feet. Widen the feet a little bit. They can go as wide as your mat or anywhere in between. You can even bring them all the way together if you'd like. And then bend your knees as you walk yourself back to your feet. And you're slowly going to roll yourself up to stand. You see me? Okay. Roll yourself down right away. Softening through the front of the body. Find the floor, bend the knees as much as you need to. And when you find the floor, see if you can flip the sit bones up to the ceiling as much as they will go. Walk your hands forward. You're going to do push-ups here. So option to drop your knees if you'd like, or full plank, 4 of these guys, nice and slowly pressing up. 1, 2, last one. Lift the hips up, walk the feet wide again if you'd like, hold. Bend the knees as your hands walk back to your feet. Hang over the legs. This time you're going to grab the weights if you're using them and support the spine with the low abdominals as again you roll all the way up. We're going to do a little bit of squat movement with arms. So the arms reach forward, palm to the ceiling, squat down. Lift the arms up overhead and then with control circle them wide to the side as they come back to your hips. Forward, palms up. Lift to the ceiling. All the way down. Kind of putting all the work together that we've done. So feel the abdominal support as you press down into the heels and up into the hands, circling wide. You have 4 more. Two more. This time as the arms circle wide, nod the chin, roll forward. Hands, weights just by your sides. Hands to the mat. Walk out. Find your plank position, knees up or down. Let's have elbows out just slightly. Push-ups, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Hips lift. Walk the feet back. Feet block, hands back. Bend knees. Grab your weights. Support as you roll up. This time step the right foot forward up on the back toe, left toe. Bend into a little lunge. Arms are going to reach up just in front of you. You're going to tip forward into a hinge, loading that right glute, and then come up. I'm not coming all the way up straight, I'm still staying forward on that diagonal. Forward. So you can drop your arms as much as you'd like, depending on your neck tension. Forward. You don't even need weights for this one. Forward. And lift. Forward. 2 more. Last one. Step yourself back. We're going to do those squats again. Reach, arms up, circle wide. Reach, arms up, heels down, circle wide. Last one. Arms up and pause. Arms wide to the side, nod and curl all the way forward. Bend your knees, drop the weights, hands to the floor. Lock out, find your plank. 4 push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hips lift. Walk your hands back to your feet. Grab your weights if you'd like to use them for the lunging. Rolling up. Stacking the spine. Left foot steps forward, high on the back right toe. Arms up, or actually I didn't mind with my arms forward, that was okay for my neck. If you're all right, palms face each other, arms overhead. Find your lunge. Forward into that diagonal, up maybe halfway. And you can feel all that support happen through the left glute, so I'm not sinking and sliding out. I'm trying my best to keep that hip kind of wrapped in towards the right one. So there's this nice sense of like drawing in with my pelvis, like somebody had wrapped a band around it and was like tightening it. Oh, let's see, whatever, 4 more. 1. I think we did 8 on the other side. 2. And I didn't demonstrate that very clearly, but keep the front knee bent the same amount the whole time. So we keep the legs in the same shape. Good. Stepping back. Let's do these a little faster last time. Squat, arms, circle. 2. And I will count this time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the last one. As the arms lower down, soften through that sternum, nod the chin, bend the knees, roll forward. Find the floor. Lock your hands out. This is your last set of push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knees down. Let's bring the knees together this time. Sit back into a shell stretch, and hands will be behind you. And notice how the breath now wants to fall into more of the front of the ribs, and the belly actually, both of which are being stopped by the thighs. So it's a really lovely back opener. Roll yourself all the way up. Hands and knees. Just going to finish with some rotation like we started. So open, different position obviously. Thread the needle. Just move through this 2 more times on the side. Open and thread. Last one, open. Hands and knees. Other side. 3. Very much focused on rotating through thoracic spine, so through rib cage and mid back. And last one. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips up into that inverted V again. This time widen your feet. Walk your hands back to your feet, bend your knees. Let the body hang over the legs. You can add a bit of movement here. Really let the neck go. So look between the knees. Grab your elbows, let the shoulders just drip and the shoulder blades drip off the top of the rib cage. Find your low abdominal support, so just draw in up through those low abs. And then slowly roll up on a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, you are done. I think the next time that I teach will be a Sunday. Not this coming Easter Sunday, but I believe the following one. So stay tuned. I can't see comments, unfortunately. Oh, I'm not very good at this. Anyway, it's lovely to teach you. I wish that I could see you, but I hope everyone's doing okay. Have a great day. Bye.